Number 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karmakanda. Number 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. So once again, welcome to today's call and thank you very much for joining us. Moving on to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. I will let all the devotees on the class to please go ahead with your introductions now.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Das Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees on the call. This is Anita from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Kaumudiki Dasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamadika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamagauri from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shamagauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and to all the assembled devotees here. This is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. All glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any more introductions before we start the class?
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Antaranga Seva Dasi from Chicago. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devadasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Balavinda from Texas.
Hare Krishna Balavranda and Hare Krishna Avinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, do we have Prabhuji on the call?
Not yet, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Dandavat Pranam to you and everybody in class. This is Hari Radha Devi Dasi from Fairfax, Virginia, Washington. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Hari Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, Prabhuji had joined, I think.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. We are extremely fortunate to have His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhuji here with us today. And Prabhuji would be enlightening us by discussing the topic Bhagavata Cosmology, Part 4, Description of Vedic Planetarium. But before we dive into this lecture and class, I will request Raj Prabhuji to share a brief introduction about His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhuji. So Hare Krishna, Raj Prabhuji, over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam to you too.
Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Here is a brief introduction for Prabhuji. His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu is a senior Brahmachari devotee from Mumbai. Prabhuji is part of the Vedic cosmology team currently working on the translation of Surya Siddhanta. Prabhu teaches many courses including Ishopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam at Bhaktivedanta Academy for Culture and Education at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir. Pavaneshwar Prabhuji is a gold medalist in electrical engineering from the Indian Institute of Science. His interest in cosmology studies led him to collaborate with fellow students at Bhaktivedanta Vidyapeeth at Govardhan Eco Village, Mumbai, India, resulting in the release of a book called Bhagavata Cosmology. It is a brief introduction for Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you so much. On to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raj Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Pavaneshwar Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Bhagavata Cosmology. So without further ado, I would like to request you to please take over from here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the kind words. So before starting, let us offer brief prayers unto Guru Parampara. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lulita Sri Vishakanvitam Shah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for again inviting me to complete the remaining part of our Bhagavata Cosmology sessions. So, in the previous sessions, about a couple of months back, we discussed from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, especially from chapter 1, then starting from chapter 16, all the way up to chapter 26, about different aspects. And from today onwards, in the upcoming couple of classes, we are going to study the movement of the different planets. Basically, I titled this as Vedic Planetarium. We have so many science planetariums every town all over. So from Bhagavatam, we try to understand how these planets are revolving around the pole star. By their movements, we are experiencing day and night. We are experiencing the change in seasons. We are experiencing the change in the phases or the visibility of the moon. And we also experience eclipses once in a while. So we briefly discuss about these four phenomena, how they are happening, what are their effects, etc. based on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 21, 22, 23, 24. So in the beginning only, I am trying to give a small cautionary note. All our previous classes, more or less, they are theoretical, and we try to explain the concepts with the help of some images, pictures, some mathematical calculations, etc. But especially this section of this part of the Bhagavata Cosmology presentations, little we need little analytical ability, some imagination, and also some connectivity. So we have heard about how the planetary movements are there from our school texts. The modern science talks about them very elaborately. In the Bhagavatam, it's little different. So, which also accommodates all that required to help us understand all other things. Little imagination and little analytical abilities are required. So, request all of you to pay attention. So, wherever and whenever you have some doubt, so we will discuss. We'll try to help everyone to understand as much as possible. May not be possible for the first time to get it everything right, but let us get step by step so that we don't have any inhibition to say that Srimad Bhagavatam also says what modern science says. It is not that the modern scientists are only cracked the subject matter, not like that. Scriptures have already told everything, but only thing we have not understood. So if we spend some time to understand the subject matter, everything becomes very clear, crystal clear, without any doubts. So that is my little, and as per my little understanding, these are the words I can say convincingly. We just have to be with open-minded and pay little attention and try to analytically understand. Then everything makes sense. So this is a letter written by Srila Prabhupada onto Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj when he was actually brahmachari. So Srila Prabhupada writes, now our PhDs must collaborate and study the fifth canto to make a model for building the Vedic planetarium. My final decision is that the universe is just like a tree with root upwards and branches downward. Just as a tree has branches and leaves, so the universe is also composed of planets which are fixed up in the tree, like the leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Here Srila Prabhupada referring to the first sloka of the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam Ashwattam Prahuraveyam. That sloka. Just like this universe is compared to an inverted banyan tree, inverted Ashwatha tree. Similarly, we can see within that universe, there are so many planetary systems which are compared to the branches twigs, leaves, etc., etc. In that way, we can see. Then Srila Prabhupada says that, so now all of you PhDs must carefully study the details of the fifth canto and make a working model of the universe. If we can explain the passing of seasons. So the first one, Prabhupada wants passing of seasons. Second one, eclipses. Third one, phases of the moon. How the moon is going through the change in the phases, how it appears. And passing of day and night. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Then it will be a very powerful propaganda. So this Srila Prabhupada wrote on April 27th, 1976 onto Sarup Damodar. That time he was Brahmachari, eventually became His Holiness Sarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. So this was the whole idea. Taking this letter as an inspiration, we try to explain these 4 phenomena. We go in the opposite order. First, we'll explain how passing of day and night is happening. By combining number of days, we have a week, month, year, etc. And within a month, we can see the change of the phase of the moon. And within a year, we can see passing seasons and formation of eclipses, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Such details we try to understand from this part of the presentation. So in order to fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada, BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute, starting with this Sadaputra Prabhu, they are working on this section of Bhagavatam, and they try to develop some models, try to present it in the scientific circles, and etc. And many of our GBC members are very dedicatedly working on developing TOVP in order to establish this chandelier model of our universe. So as we see in these images, so a big team is working on this particular aspect of temple. So very soon we are going to see all these things in the Sridham Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir, having this chandelier model hanging from the top. So in the past lectures, in the past series of lectures, we have studied about how the entire Bhumandala has been divided into 3 parts. The outside region is called as Aloka Varsha, inside region is called as Loka Varsha, and the boundary mountain which is separating both is called Lokaloka mountain. This we have studied. And this is the Bhumandala. The thin line indicates the boundary of the Bhumandala. The thick line indicates the beginning of the universal shell. So this is the entire Bhumandala. So this Loka Varsha has got again 2 parts. One is golden land, Swarna Bhumi, and this particular ring, which indicates the combination of 7 oceans, 7 islands. And this is magnified here. We can see here. This is 7th ocean, 7th island, 6th ocean, 6th island, 5th ocean, 5th island, 4th ocean, 4th island, 3rd ocean, 3rd island. And then the inner portion again magnified here. This is the 2nd ocean, 2nd island. The green one is 1st ocean, and the small white circle, that is 1st island, Jambudvipa. So like that we have within the Loka Varsha 7 islands and 7 oceans surrounded by Swarna Bhumi. This entire area is called as Loka Varsha, which is surrounded by Lokaloka boundary mountain and which is surrounded by Aloka Varsha. All these details and their subdivisions, etc., we have studied in our previous classes. And then this particular Jambudvipa as seen here like this, within which it has got 8 boundary mountains and Mount Meru in the middle, and we have 9 divisions, etc. And within that we have Bharata Varsha. Within Bharata Varsha there are 9 divisions. The 9th division is Bharatakanda. That also we discussed. And how Ganga comes down, flows through all over Jambudvipa and enters into the ocean. That also we have studied. So this is the vertical structure of the universe. And the lower part of the universe is covered by Garbhodaka ocean, where Garbhodaksha Vishnu is residing. And here we have Lokaloka mountain. Within this we have Dhruvaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. As we magnify this portion, you can see here all the planetary systems are here. Here is Dhruvaloka, Saptarushi Mandal, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, 27 constellations, Moon, Sun, Rahu and Ketu, and the Bhumandala. This is the Bhumandala. Within the Bhumandala, we have 7 lower planetary systems. So all these different divisions we have briefly studied in our previous classes. So keeping this in the background of our mind, now let us try to understand how these objects which are there between Dhruvaloka and the Bhumandala, all these are continuously revolving around pole star. How they are revolving, why they are revolving, such kind of things. Let us try to understand in today's and upcoming sessions. So whenever we say that something is revolving around a center, we say that it is revolving in a particular orbit. So what is the concept of orbit from our Vedic literatures? So Bhagavatam explains, just as bulls move around the central post in order to separate the rice grains from the rice paddy, the planets and other luminaries such as constellations and stars, they also move around the pole star in clockwise direction. CWD stands for clockwise direction, turned by Dakshinavruta Pravaha wind. There is something called as Dakshinavruta Pravaha. Dakshina means south. Avruta means moving in a circular fashion, starting from the eastern direction, moving towards south, and then to the west, and then to the north, and then again to the east. That is called clockwise movement. So something which is moving in clockwise direction, that is called Dakshinavruta Pravaha. They are kind of winds, that's why they are called Pravaha. So being moved by this Dakshinavruta Pravaha wind, the planets and luminaries are moving around the pole star. Yatasthanam mandalani charanti akalpantam parichin kramanti. Akalpantam means throughout the day of Lord Brahma, all these planets, luminaries and constellations, they continuously revolve around in clockwise direction, like Parichin Kramanti means as we do parikrama around Tulsi Maharani every day in the morning during our Mangalarti. They go in the clockwise direction. So once the planets are set into motion, they continue to move for the entire day of Lord Brahma. Only at the end of the day of Lord Brahma, there will be a pralaya and all the planets will be destroyed. All the planetary system, planets and the luminaries, everything will be destroyed. That is when they stop moving around. And how they are able to move in the open space, an example is given. Just like the clouds are eagles, they continuously fly and float, being moved by wind and by their past karmas. Similarly, the planets and the luminaries, being controlled by the matter, the Supreme Lord, and by their past karmas, they continue to stay in the outer space and continue to revolve without being falling down onto the surface of the earth. So in that context, the shloka says that karma sarataya, being assisted by their karma, they do not fall to the ground. For any aerial travels like flight and other things, we need a pilot. Pilot is called in Sanskrit as Sarathi, Ratha Sarathi. Lord Krishna acted as Ratha Sarathi for Arjuna, Path Sarathi. So the Sarathi for all these planets and luminaries is their past karmas. So many times devotees ask the question, whose karma? Is the karma of the planet or karma of the person? So it is both. It is the person's karma supposed to stay in that planet and continuously move around, and the planet's karma also. It's supposed to move around for the entire day of Brahma. So it's like that. Thus, they are constantly propelled by Parvartaka Pravaha wind. There is another name in the Bhagavatam, it is used as Dakshinavata Pravaha as well as Parvartaka Pravaha. Pravaha means kind of winds. Parivartaka means which continuously moves in circular fashion. So in that way. So all these are moving around pole star. So now what is pole star? Why they are moving around pole star? That is mentioned in the first 2 verses in the same chapter. The previous discussion comes in the 3rd verse about the orbital understanding, and why they are moving around pole star comes in the first 2 verses. The pole star is the abode of Lord Vishnu, and it is the residence of Maharaj Dhruva, who is the son of Uttanapada, who is the son of Swayambhu Manu. So, being established by Supreme Lord Vishnu, the pole star or Dhruvaloka acts like pivot of all the luminaries, planets, and constellations. It acts like the center of the orbits of all the planetary systems. So, in that way. Jyotir Gananam Graha Nakshatra Graha stands for the nine grahas. 7 grahas corresponding to our 7 days in a week, plus Rahu and Ketu. Thus, there are 9 grahas. And Nakshatra there are 27 nakshatras. Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, like that. And Jyotir Gana stands for the 12 zodiac signs or 12 rashis. Mesha, Rishabha, Tula, Miduna, etc. And Adinam includes all the different variety of stars and comets, asteroids, etc. All other things, they are part of Adinam. So all these things are continuously revolving around pole star by making pole star as their pivot. They rotate constantly around the pole star. Dakshinata Kriyamana Idanim. How they are revolving? They start from the east, they go towards Dakshina, south, and then west, and then north, and then east. Like this, in a circular fashion, they continuously revolve. Why? By Lord's inconceivable force, Avyakta Ramasa. Because Lord Vishnu is the in charge of the maintenance of the universe. The maintenance of the universe is carried out by keeping the Jyotirganas, Grahas, Nakshatras, Tarakas in motion, perpetual motion. Which starts at the beginning of the day of Brahma and which ends at the end of the day of Lord Brahma. This is how Lord Vishnu maintains the universe. By keeping the Grahas, Nakshatras, Jyotirganas, Taring mode. It does not move, but it makes everyone to move around him. So that is the understanding. Being situated within the pole star, Lord Vishnu, who is known as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, looks after the maintenance of the universe by keeping all these people, all these objects in the perpetual motion. So here is the pole star as part of the Shishimar planetary systems, and this is the Bhumandala. Bhumandala is fixed, it does not move. Pole star also fixed, it does not move. But everything between Bhumandala and the pole star, they continuously revolve around pole star. Thus, pole star acts like the pivot for all of them. And every planet and every constellation, every zodiac sign and every star, they are all very nicely connected to pole star through a rope made up of wind. That's why it is called as Vata Rashmi. All these lines which you see, they are all made up of winds. They are called as Vata Rashmi, ropes made up of wind. So, in that way. So, this is our universe. We have seen in the past many times. Half of the universe is filled with water. And this is our Bhumandala. Here is Mount Meru. Here we have all the planetary systems. And little close up. Here we have all their names. Sun, Rahu, Ketu, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Saptarushis, and pole star. And then finally we have Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Sataloka. Above pole star, all these 4 lokas are fixed. They don't move. And Bhumandala does not move. So only all these people who are between pole star and the Bhumandala, they continuously moving around till the end of the day of Brahma. So then, in order to understand at what speed they are moving, at what ratio they are moving, and why they are moving, and how we can see the effect of their movement, there is something called as Kala Chakragata or Zodiac belt. In reference to Zodiac belt, we can understand how they are moving, how fast, how slow, and the effect of their movements in terms of our daily viable calculations. So these are all made based on Zodiac belt and in reference to Zodiac belt. So which is mentioned in the 22nd chapter, verse number 3 to 5. talks about this zodiac belt. What is this? It is said that Sa Esha Bhagavan Adi Purusha Eva Sakshan Narayano, the original personality of Godhead, who is non-different from Lord Narayana himself, the Lokanam Swastaye, for the welfare of all the planetary systems, for the welfare of the entire universe, the 14 lokas, Chauda Bhuvan. Atmanam Trayimayam, Atmanam Trayimayam, that Lord whose form is made up of the Vedas. Trayimayam means, Trayi means the in the Bhagavad Gita we also understand that Traividyamam Somapaputa. Trayimayam is basically the Vedas. And whose form, Atmanam Trayimayam, whose form is made up of the Vedas, Karma Vishuddhi Nimittani, in order to purify our karmas. Kavibir Apicha Vedena Vignasya Mano. So the great sages and the Vedic literatures describe that Dvadashadda Vibhajya, this Supreme Lord Adipurusha, who is Bhagavan, who is Narayana, whose form is made up of the Vedas, expanded himself into 12 Dvadasha Ada Vibhajya. He expanded himself into 12 zodiac signs. Sheshtau Vasantadishu Rutushu. He further expanded into 6 Rutus. Yatopa Josham Rutu Gunam Vidadati. In order to allow us experience different seasons, in order to allow us to have different experiences in different seasons. That was the reason. The Lord divided himself into 12 forms and 6 seasons. So this form of the Lord is called the Kala Chakra Gata. Time wheel basically. This time wheel consists of 12 spokes, 6 rims, 3 hubs. The 12 forms corresponding to 12 spokes, which are corresponding to 12 solar months within a year. And 6 rims corresponds to 6 seasons, and 3 hubs corresponding to 3 set of 4 months. So something like that. The sun enjoys 12 months in an orbit known as Samvatsara. Through time, the Lord regulates our experience of our actions and experience of different seasons. So especially in the modern day cities, we may not be understand the meaning of the experience of different seasons. At least we go through the seasons. We have something called rainy season, winter season, summer season, etc. Especially we are very much worried about some of the seasons in the cities. But in the villages, they actually eagerly wait for seasons to come, seasons to go, something like that. Spring season is most awaited season. Eventually rain is summer season, then rainy season for farming, etc. So every season they have different variety of activities to perform in the villages. In the modern days, in the cities, throughout the year we have same job. But in the villages, especially the farmers and also the people who are still performing their occupational duties according to their family culture, their activities will change season after season. They are not constantly same activity throughout the year. According to season, they change. So it says that Pravritti Nivritti Nimittani Samaya Visheshana. The Supreme Lord himself expanded into the form of Kala Chakra Gata for 2 purposes. One is Pravritti Nivritti Nimittani. Pravritti is mainly to begin the activity. Especially in the villages, as soon as the sun rises, people get up and start performing their daily activities. And after sun sets, they stop performing all the activities. So Pravritti Nimritti means to begin an activity and to stop the activity within a day. And also Samaya Visheshana, to have the distinction or divisions within the time. Something called as morning, afternoon, evening, night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then January, February, March, April, and spring, rainy season, autumn. All these different kind of distinctions are all based on Kala Chakra Gata. So for these 2 reasons, the Supreme Lord expanded himself into Kala Chakra Gata. So that is the understanding. So this is the time wheel. Here we have 12 spokes of a wheel, 6 rims of the wheel. And this Kala Chakra continuously revolves and takes everyone along with it. That is the understanding. So traditionally, this is the bullock cart wheel. From this, we can really understand there are 12 spokes and 6 rims and the hub in between. Here you can see. Here the 12 spokes and there are 6 rims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In our cycle, bicycle, or in our automobiles, two-wheeler, four-wheeler, we only have one rim. It is a continuous rim. But in the traditional bullock cart wheel or horse-driven cart wheel, they would be made like this. 12 spokes will be there and 6 rims will be there. So the central portion is called hub. So the 12 spokes are corresponding to 12 zodiac signs or 12 rashis. We have Mesha, Vrishaba, Mithuna, Karka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishika, Dhanu, Makara, Kumbha, Meena. Or we can see the same names, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. So the 12 spokes of the time wheel are corresponding to, are basically indicating the 12 rashis or 12 zodiac signs. And two rashis combined together is called one season. So this is one season, this is one season, this is one season, one another, either 6 seasons are there. They are corresponding to 6 rims. So that is the understanding. And this time wheel continuously rotates throughout the day of Lord Brahma. So now question is, why this particular zodiac sign is called Mesha, this is called Vrishaba, this is called Mithuna, this is called Karka? Where from these names came? And they are also shown with their particular symbols. Mesha, Vrishaba, Mithuna, Karka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishika, Dhanu, Makara, and Kumbha, Meena, etc. Why does those names came? Here also same thing. So this Kala Chakra will be revolving around. The reason is a zodiac sign or a Rashi is nothing but combination of a group of stars. A group of stars which are located at a particular place, when you map them, they particularly appear like a particular living entity. And the great sages have given the name of that living entity to that particular group of stars. For example, here you see, these are the group of stars. When you map them, it appears to be like a lion. This is the tail of the lion, this is the body of the lion, this is the head of the lion. So it is called as Simha Rashi. Simha means lion or Leo, something like that. And what is the one more thing? Clearly it is there. Here you see, this particular thing appears to be like a scorpion. These are like the front portion of the scorpion. They are like tail portion of the scorpion. So it is called as Scorpio or Vrishika Rashi. It is given that name, Vrishika Rashi. And this looks like a crab. So it is called as Cancer, or it is called as Karka or Karakataka Rashi, something like that. So because they appear like a particular living species, the name is given to them like that. So that is the reason. So here we have the 12 zodiac signs, which are nothing but the group of stars which appear to be like a particular living entity. Because of that, they get the name of that living entity. And then, in addition to these 12 rashis, there are 27 nakshatras. Just like the 12 rashis are nothing but the group of stars, the 27 nakshatras are also group of stars. And all those group of stars appears to be like small bears. So in the they are actually called in our school text with the different names of the bears. So in that way, small dipper, big dipper, and so many different names are given to other group of stars, etc. So there are 28 in constellation, 28 in number along with object. 28 constellations are there. Out of 28, in 27 constellations, the 27 daughters of Daksha are residing, and they are the 27 wives of the moon god. Since these 27 daughters are residing in those 27 constellations, those constellations are called after the name of the daughters of Daksha, like they are Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini. These are the names of the daughters of Daksha who married moon god. Since they are living in the residence, they are called with those names, something like that. Being inspired by the Supreme Lord, the 27 constellations or 28 constellations, they also move in clockwise direction along with the time wheel. And in the time wheel, we have 12 Rashis, and in the constellation wheel, we have 27 constellations. And both of them are firmly fixed one upon the other, and both of them together move. So in order to understand which constellation is located in which zodiac sign or which Rashi, there is a particular understanding is given in Vedic literatures. We have 12 Rashis and 27 Nakshatras. So 27 by 12, we get a factor of, we get a value equal to 2.25. So 12 2 times 24, so 3 is remaining, 3 by 24. It is like 1 by 4, it is 0.25. So it will be 2.25. That means 2 full nakshatras and 1/4 of the third nakshatra will be placed in one zodiac sign. So thus, since 1/4 of a nakshatra is located in a particular zodiac sign, every nakshatra has been divided into 4 divisions. The 4 divisions are called as 4 padas or 4 dandas. So that is understanding. So that we can understand which pada of which nakshatra is located in which Rashi. So this information will be helpful for the astrologers to predict what will be the effect of a person when a particular planet is there in particular Rashi and particular pada of a particular nakshatra, etc. That will be more useful for them. And the 28th nakshatra, known as Abhijit, whenever it comes in between Ashada and Shravana. So here some little information. So we are saying that the 27 nakshatras are the residential quarters of the 27 daughters of Daksha, and they are married to moon. And Lord Brahma is said to be the lord of the nakshatras. He is called as Nakshatra Purusha. He is the overall supervisor of the movements of nakshatras. And that Lord Brahma, being prayed by Atri and Anasuya, appeared as their son, who became known as Soma or moon god. So Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 1, we hear that the one of the 9 daughters of Devahuti Kardama, known as Anasuya, married Atri Muni. Later on, they performed severe austerities to have a son who is like the Ishvara of the universe. That time, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, 3 of them appear to him, and 3 of them promised that they will appear as their son. So Lord Vishnu appeared as Dattatreya, Lord Brahma appeared as Soma, Lord Shiva appeared as Durvasa Muni. So that was the understanding. In one sense, Soma is direct expansion of Lord Brahma, and Soma is the husband of the 27 nakshatras, and he is the lord and master of all the 27 constellations. And then Lord Shiva is called as Kala Purusha or Maha Kala Purusha, and he is the lord of all the grahas. All over India, maybe in the west also, I don't know, I have not visited, but anywhere, if there is a temple of Lord Shiva, in one corner, there will be the Navagrahas. There will be a small altar dedicated for Navagrahas. People generally, whenever they feel that they are affected by the influence of Grahas, they are recommended to go to Lord Shiva's temple and move around the Navagraha Mandal so that the Navagrahas can be pacified. And even in India, many of the astrologers, whenever they want to nullify the bad effects of the Navagrahas, especially the Shani, Rahu, Ketu, etc., they tell them to go to a traditional Lord Shiva temples, wherever Lord Shiva's Jyotirlinga is there, and there they recommend to perform some special worship of Lord Shiva. Because since Lord Shiva is the direct Lord and Master of the Grahas, he can nullify the bad effects of Grahas. The worst effect of the Navagrahas is death. So the astrologers recommend that in order to get out of that bad influence, the bad effect, they tell that there should be chanting of 1 lakh. What this mantra is called as Mahamrutyunjaya mantra. they should be chanting 1 lakh Mahamrutyunjaya mantra, being seated in front of Lord Shiva's deity. If possible, one of the Jyotirlingas. So that is the direct connection to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is called as Graha Purusha or Kala Purusha, Mahakala Purusha, because he is the Lord of direct Grahas. So all the Grahas are under the supervision of Lord Shiva. And then Lord Vishnu is called as Rashi Purusha. In the previous slide only we saw that Lord Vishnu himself, in order to maintain the universe, expanded as Kala Chakra, the Rashi Mandal. So thus he is obviously the Rashi Purusha. All 12 zodiac signs are under the supervision, under the control of Lord Vishnu. So this is the connection between these three people. Lord Brahma is Nakshatra Purusha, Lord Shiva is Graha Purusha or Kala Purusha, and Lord Vishnu is Rashi Purusha. And how these constellations are situated within the zodiac belt, here we can see. So zodiac belt contains 12 Rashis: Mesha, Rishabha, Mithuna, Karka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Rishika, Danu, Makara, Kumbha, and Meena. And the 27 nakshatras are situated like this. We have Ashwini. The 4 padas of Ashwini are located here. 4 padas of Bharani are located here. And it is supposed to be 2.25. So 2.25 is 1/4 of the Kritika Rashi, Kritika Nakshatra is located within Mesh Rashi. And in the remaining 3/4, the second pada, third pada, fourth pada will be located here. Rohini 4 padas are here. And Mrugashirshas 2 padas are here. Another 2 padas will be here. Then Arudra, then Punarvasu, 3 padas are here. Punarvasu's 4th pada is here. And Pushya, Ashlesha. Like that, all the 27 nakshatras are firmly fixed in the zodiac belt. So here you can see very clearly. This is the first zodiac sign from here to here. And this is the first Rashi. So the 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4 are here. Second Rashi, 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. And third Rashi, 1 part is there in the first Rashi, and the remaining 3 are here. And the 4 of the next Rashi, next Nakshatra, and the 2 of the next Nakshatra, because total 9 should be there. 3 plus 4 plus 2. 3 plus 4, 7 plus 2, 9. And then 2 plus 4 plus 3, 9. 1 plus 4 plus 4, 9. Again, starting again. So this is the fixed positioning. They are fixed, firmly fixed like that, and they continue to revolve like that. So here you can see there are 12 zodiac signs, 27 nakshatras. This is Mesha, Rishabha, Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, etc. And they continue to rotate throughout the day of Lord Brahma. Both are kind of permanently fixed. Though they are separate, but they are kind of fixed, superimposed one after the one upon the other, and both combined together is called as Kala Chakra, and they will be revolving continuously with the same speed. So here you can see the same thing, that 12 zodiac signs and 27 nakshatras, and this is the 20th nakshatra Abhijit. So whenever Abhijit comes, he comes here. So Purvashada, Uttarashada, Shravana. In generally, Purvashada will have 4 padas, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Uttarashada will have 4 padas, and Shravana will also have 4 padas. So whenever Abhijit will come, Purvashada will give 1 pada to it, Uttarashada will give 1 pada to it, Shravana will give 1 pada to it. So then Purvashada will have 3 padas, Uttarashada will have 3 padas, Abhijit will have 3 padas, Shravana will have 3 padas. So previously 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12. And after Abhijit comes 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, again 12. So there will be no disturbance to other nakshatras. Only these 3 nakshatras will rearrange themselves, making enough space for the 4th nakshatra. So that is the understanding. So now for our future discussion, we will use this Kala Chakra consisting of 12 Rashis and 27 nakshatras as a background for our simulation. We will be showing so many simulations so that we can understand the movement of the planets properly. So this is like that. Here we have the orbit of the 12 zodiac signs, 12 Rashis. Here is the circle of 27 nakshatras. And here in the center, this is like top view, as you see from the top. So from the top, this is like the pole star. At the base of the Bhumandala, it is like our Bhartakanda or Mount Meru, which is in the middle of the Bhumandala. So like that we can see. So now the sun will be moving along with the circle of the 12 zodiac signs, and the moon will be moving along with the circle of the 27 nakshatras, so that we can understand where they are positioned, how they are moving along with the Kala Chakra, etc. in the future upcoming slides. So now we will begin the understanding of the first concept, how day and night are forming. So that concept will we discuss how day and night is happening. It is which is there in the couple of slides. Then we will take some questions. What is the understanding of this entire, if there is any clarification required. So the concept of day and night is explained in 21st chapter, verse number 3 to 12. Taking a reference from that, I will take questions maybe in 5 minutes later, because just to whatever you have studied now, we will connect it to a particular motion so that this particular loop becomes clear. Then we'll take the questions. The sun, who is situated in the middle of the Antariksha, in the middle of Bhuvarloka, he heats up and lights up the 3 planetary systems, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka. Yen Madhyagato Bhagavams Tapatam Patis Tapana Atapena Trilokim Pratapati Avabhashati Atmabhasha. By his own effulgence, he gives heat and light to the 3 planetary systems, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka, being situated in the middle of Bhuvarloka. Evam Navakotya Eka Panchastal Lakshani Yojananam Manasottara Giri Parivartanasyopa Dishanti. Being situated just above the Manasottara mountain, every day within 24 hours, the sun's chariot will travel to a distance of how much it is? 9.51 million yojanas. Actually, it is supposed to be. Here 2 zeros are there. Okay, fine. 6, no? So 9.51 million yojanas are 95.1 lakh yojanas. So it is like that. Sun travels above Manasottara, passing through the 4 residences which are located on the Manasottara mountain, and a circumference of 95.1 million yojanas. So this is the correct number actually. Here something is missing. I need to correct. So when it is traveling on a circumference of 95.1 million yojanas, the radius of that particular circumference is 15.85 million yojanas. In the Bhagavatam, the pi value is taken as 3. So c by pi will be diameter, c by 2 pi will be radius. So it is very pretty close by number. So like that. So in 15 Gatikas or 6 hours, the sun travels to a distance of this much. 37 lakh 75,000 yojanas. Actually, this is 9 crore 51 lakh yojanas. That is understanding. So in 6 hours, he goes from Indra's township to the Varuna's township, from Indra's township to Yama's township. From there, in another 6 hours, he went to Varuna's township. In another 6 hours, he went to Soma's township. In another 6 hours, he comes to again to Indra's township. That means over every 24 hours, he makes one complete round. That is understanding. So here is the orbit of sun, which is known as Manasottara mountain. The brown line is our Manasottara mountain. The chariot wheel of the sun is located just above this mountain. So here is the sun. In the east, we have Indra's township. In the south, we have Yamaraj township, Samyamani. In the west, Varuna's township. In the north, Indra's township. For the sun to move from here to here, it takes 6 hours. Here to here, another 6 hours. Here to here, another 6 hours. Here to here, another 6 hours. Like that, over every 24 hours, he makes one complete round. So Bhagavatam talks about this direction is being east, because since Sukadeva Goswami and Parishit Maharaj talking this entire discussion being situated in Shukatal on the bank of Ganga here in India. So with respect to that Shukatal, this direction is called east. This is called west. This is called north. And this is called south. And for the entire universe, the upper direction is true north and the bottom direction is true south. This we discussed in the previous sessions. So the entire discussion which is in the Bhagavatam is in reference to the place where they are discussing, from Shukatal on the bank of Ganga. So this will be north, this will be south, this side will be west, this side will be east, and this is true south and this is true north. So this is another thing. The orbits. So from this picture we may say that, okay, previously we saw that all the planets are supposed to move around Mount Meru. Mount Meru is supposed to be center of the orbits. But the understanding is that when you connect pole star, which is here, and Bhartakanda, our earth globe, which is here, when you connect through a line, this line will be the center of the orbits of all the planetary system that is there within the universe. So that's why the planets, the orbit of the sun is shown like this. When sun is here, the orbit of the sun will be directly perpendicular to the line which is connecting to pole star and Bhartakanda, our earth globe. So this is another orbit of the sun. This will be in the month of April. This will be in the month of June, July. This will be in the month of January. Of course, we will discuss about it in the future. But basically, the sun, moon, and all other planets are revolving in a particular orbit whose center will be lying on the line connecting Bhartakanda and pole star. So they will be revolving around that particular line, making that line at the center, not Mount Meru. So this will be the orbit of sun. So like this, there are three orbits. This is the orbit in the month of April. This is June, July, and this is again October. This is again in the month of January, again April, like that. Sun goes up and down. So this will be one of the interesting topic which we will discuss in one of the future sessions. And similarly, the moon will be moving in an orbit very close to Earth. It's like this. That also will be perpendicular to the line of line that are connecting pole star as well as Bhartakanda. So that is understanding. So now we see this is our entire Bhumandala. This is Jambudvipa, which is in the middle. The Bhumandala consisting of 7 Dvipas and 7 islands. And this is the shape of the Bhumandala as you see from the front side. This is the shape of the Bhumandala as you see from the top. These are the 4 townships on the Manasuttar mountain. In the east, Indra had his township known as Devadani. In the south, Yama had his township known as Samyamani. In the west, Varuna had his township known as Nimlochani. And in the north, the moon has his township known as Vibhavari. This is Manasutara mountain. So when sun is here, this part of the Bhumandala will be bright and this part of the Bhumandala will be dark. That we explained in the past also. When sun is here, this part of the Bhumandala will be exposed to sun and this side cannot be bright because if sunlight is supposed to pass through the Bhumandala, that is not possible. As sun is moving like this, at any given point of time, half of the Bhumandala will be bright and other half of the Bhumandala will be dark. So for the sun to go from Devadani to Samyamani, 6 hours, another 6 hours, another 6 hours, another 6 hours. Like that, in 24 hours, sun makes one complete round. This is how the day and night is happening around the entire Bhumandala. Thus, the sun day in day out moves in the clockwise direction continuously. Same thing. So when sun is here, this part of the earth globe is dark and this part of the earth globe is bright. According to modern science, the understanding is sun is stationary, but earth is moving in the counterclockwise direction. So because of that movement at any given point of time, half of the earth is bright and other half of the earth is dark. But Bhagavatam understanding is earth is stationary, but sun is moving in the clockwise direction. Because of which we have day and night happening all over the earth globe. If you one step go backward, here sun is stationary, earth is moving in the counterclockwise direction. That is what modern science says. What Bhagavatam and Purana says is that earth is stationary, but sun is moving in the clockwise direction. Phenomena is same. The explanation is little different. That's all. This is the difference between the Vedic understanding and modern understanding. So here is a small animation which again further explains about the day and night. So here is our Earth globe. The sun is gradually moving like this. So when sun is here, since India is here, half of the India is just already bright, other half, the western part of the India is dark, the eastern part of the India is already bright. For example, when sun is here, it is already sun rising in Mayapur, but it is still dark in Bombay. As slowly time passes, sorry. So the India gets brighter, and it is the time is passing. 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. By the time sun comes overhead, that will be 12 noon. At that time, in Central Africa, there will be sunrise. Sun will be rising in the Africa. And sun is passing by. In India, we have 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., eventually 6 p.m. When it is 6 p.m., sun is setting in India, but sun will be at noon in the Africa. And at that time, it will be rising in America. Sun will be rising in America at that time, when sun is setting in India. And eventually, it will be night in the India, like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. And the 12 p.m. in India will be 12 noon in America, and 6 p.m. in Africa, and then morning 6 a.m. sun will be rising in Japan. And then as time passes, it will be 1 early morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. when sun is about to rise. So that time, it will be sun setting in the America and sun rising in the Japan or some other countries in that area. So something like that. So this is how the day and night changes all over our Earth globe. So now the same animation once again you see, observing the bottommost portion. This is the top view, this is the front view. So here you see the India is full bright now. So now sun is overhead India very soon. So it will be noon for India. And eventually sun will be passing towards west. So evening starts. And in Africa, it is gradually rising. The temperature increases. So now Mayapur becoming night, and central part of India getting night. And now Bombay also gets night a little later. It's like that. In America, the daytime is increasing. 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. and it will be noon now very soon. So it is noon in America and midnight in India, and setting in Africa, rising in Japan, and gradually going ahead. So for a person standing on the pole, North Pole, or going above into the ether, they will see the sun moving like this. Sun is doing a parikrama around Earth globe. And for a person who is in the plane of the line of equator, going gone to the space, they will see the sun is moving like this. Sun is rising at one side and overhead, and like this. It will be going like this. So, but what will be the experience of different people at different places? So, person on the North Pole will see sun is making a parikrama around Earth globe and around himself also. He sees that sun is moving around him like a parikrama. And for a person who is at 60 degrees latitude, he will see sun is doing a parikrama but in an inclined plane with an angle of 30 degrees. Here is 0 degree angle. The plane angle is 0 degrees. Here the plane angle is 30 degrees. So to this line, the angle between these two is 30 degrees. And for a person at latitude of 30 degrees, he will see sun is traveling in an inclined plane with an angle of 60 degrees. So angle between these two will be 60 degrees. And for a person standing in the line of equator, he will see that sun is going up and down with an angle of 90 degrees. So this is how our experience varies based on our position on the surface of the earth of different latitudes. This is on the person on the pole, North Pole with 90 degrees latitude, person on here and 60 degrees latitude line, 30 degrees latitude line, and 0 degree latitude, that is line of equator. This person, when he sees sun moving in a clockwise direction horizontally, he sees sun moving in a little inclined plane, more inclined plane, and perfectly up down. So this is what we experience in India now. So sun is going above and down and above, down and above, etc. So in America, all of you might be at different latitudes. If your place might be somewhat close to this latitude, 30 degrees or something like that, little more than 30 degrees. So you must be having this kind of experience of sun's movement. So it's like that. So this is about how day and night is happening. So eventually, by the combination of days and nights, we will have months and years that we will discuss a little later. So before that, any questions from any devotees? Any clarification about what we discussed till now?
Hare Krishna.
Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for this incredible presentation. It's really wonderful because it does answer a few questions that I had from the last time you were with us. The question I have today is, do we know of any, in modern times, any astronauts or anyone who has noticed anything different or notice kind of what you're saying here? I mean, with the movement of the sun and the planets, than what we've been taught in science, because even now we have, there are astronauts on the space station now. Do they ever notice? Have we heard of them noticing what you're saying here or noticing anything different than what they've learned about movement of planets?
So there are two answers to answer this. All of us as a student, having gone to school, college, having gone to the specialization, especially in the astronomy area, etc. From the very childhood, we have been taught something. As we grow, we live with that, what we learn in the school. Starting from our school, whatever we learned in our school texts or eventually the books, college textbooks, university textbooks, we learn and we stick to it. We live with it for our entire life. So in our school books, we have heard about heliocentric theory from the very beginning. So there was no mention about geocentric theory from the very beginning. It is nowhere mentioned about, nowhere talked about also. So all of us have studied, all of us have understood, all of us have owned it, and we live with that till the time of death. We believe that and we live with that. Whomsoever we speak to, we speak about that only, because we were never exposed to another theory. So we don't know about other theories. So that is understanding. Even if someone becomes astronauts, that will be the understanding. And they try to prove that only. Even though they may try to observe from the outer space, they try to explain how the earth is revolving around. There are so many phenomena talking about explaining that phenomena, etc. So this is one answer, because we grow up with something and we live with that. Second thing is, even though scientific community, they may come up with some experiments, okay, it can show that earth is stationary, sun is only revolving around it, but the mainstream science only accepts the heliocentric model. If the minority of people might say something against to it, but the mainstream science community will not accept it. So it won't become popular. It won't see the light of the day, something like that. So this is like, we can see, this is one of the limitation we can come up with the mainstream popularity. The second is, actually, even the science also accepted the geocentric model in the past. At least in the written history, we have the written history about last 2,500 years, starting with Aristotle, Plato, who were there before the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ, BC 500, BC 400, etc. So since then, all the way up to 15th century, everyone accepted the geocentric theory only. but there was some problem with the geocentric explanation to predict the exact location of the planet. Sometimes when planets are going through retrograde motion, predicting exact exact time of forming of eclipse, etc. That was the reason during the 15th century there are some scientists came up saying that so predicting the position of the planets with the help of geocentric model is very difficult. With the help of heliocentric model, it will be easy to explain. But at that time, church said you cannot change anything what is coming in the lineage. But still some scientists went ahead publishing books, publishing papers. The church became very angry and kind of put them in house arrest, people such as Galileo and Brahe. So eventually they further went ahead publishing different books, trying to propagate this new information, which will be easy to explain. But they were sentenced to death. They were burnt alive. One of them was burnt alive, other one escaped. And eventually the scientific community became very much angry with the church. They kind of separated from the church and they started teaching opposite to what was coming down generation of generation in the past. So now they wanted to explain heliocentric theory. Eventually it became heliostationary model. So because they want to avoid or they want to teach something opposite to what was existing in the past. So they kind of propagated very widely the heliocentric model and eventually which became known as heliostationary model. Now what we study in the schools is all about sun is stationary, everything is moving around it, etc., etc. So these are the two reasons we can see from the historical and scientific perspective. This is my limited understanding. There could be many more bigger answers. So I am not criticizing science anything, but they had good intention during that time, but somehow or other church did not accept it. Church did not welcome that good intention. So as a result of that, we see both have become loggerheads with each other. So the science trying to speak everything against church, and church does not accept science. Something like that happened in those times. That's how the change in the perspective happened over the years. So this is my understanding.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That makes so much sense. And we've heard about these things happening in other parts of science as well, even with Darwin's theories and things like that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your explanation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I think my question will probably have a similar answer, but when we hear that the reason that we experience the earth as standing still is because it's moving, rotating so at high speed, right? Is that simply scientists' way of trying to explain why we experience the earth as standing still?
Yeah.
Because Vedic understanding is that it is actually standing still. It's not due to rotations at super high speeds, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The science has one simple argument. Within the solar system, they say that whichever is heavy, whichever contains more density, more volume, more mass, that becomes the center. And all other smaller objects will revolve around the bigger object. So within our solar system, the heaviest, the most biggest object is sun. And all the other planets are revolving around sun. This is what I have studied in my school. And from Bhagavatam, we have seen that Bhartakanda, our earth globe, is a part of Bharatavarsha, which is a part of Jambudvipa, this Jambudvipa, which is a part of the entire Bhumandala. So here is the Bhumandala. For the Bhartakanda, for our earth globe to revolve, So then the entire Bhumandala is supposed to revolve. Now, the same example which modern scientists give, the entire Bhumandala is very, very, very heavy, very, very, very big. And all the planets are like small dust particles in comparison to it. So obviously, the Bhumandala is supposed to be stationary and all the planets are supposed to revolve around Bhumandala. So this is the same logical explanation we can use. And in Sanskrit, the earth globe never indicated with a term whose translation can be seen as a planet. Navagrahas. In every Lord Shiva's temple, we see these Navagrahas. Graha means Gati Dayaka iti Graha. So that which contains the movement as its special property, as its specific nature, is called Graha. Graha is that object which continuously moves without being stopped anywhere by anyone. That is called Graha. So in any Lord Shiva's temple, we see Navagrahas, which are Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. There is no Bhugraha within that Navagrahas. So Earth can never be called as a Graha. It is recommended that all of us try not to refer to Earth as Earth planet. Try to avoid that. That planet word does not go well with Earth because Earth is not a planet. So
what would you call Earth again? What would you call it instead of planet?
We can call it as Earth globe. Simple. Or in Sanskrit, we can call it as Bhartakanda. Sanskrit, we can call it Bhartakanda. In English, we can call it as Earth globe. That is good. Instead of calling it as Earth planet.
Yeah, I think the confusion comes too because we think of anything as globular as a planet, you know. Anything as spherical is interpreted, it has the connotation as planet, just because of the form, right?
Exactly, I don't know what is the Latin meaning of planet, but in Sanskrit, Graha means Gati Pradana iti Graha. That which has Gati. Gati means the movement, velocity, has its main property, that is called Graha. That proper translates as planet. So that is understood.
So we say Earth globe because it's spherical, but not, but doesn't have property of movement. Okay. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
My pranams to you. Thank you so much for the wonderful divine insights. Please excuse me if you feel my question is weird and absurd. You spoke about the sun being the source of heat and light for all, Bhur, Bhuvar, and Swargaloka, right?
Yes.
And you also spoke about 6 hours to reach the 4 destination points like Indra,
from here to
Varuna,
here.
Whatever, right? Now, those 24 hours you measure from the concept of Bhumandala, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Because the time concept for Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka obviously is different.
Yes.
And the movement of the sun is what is the, the factor for the measurement of time in Bhumandala. Okay, is my understanding right to this extent, Prabhu?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, now in Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka, how is this measurement of time or the concept of time measured? Because the time in Bhumandala and Bhuvarloka or Swargaloka is obviously very, very different, right?
Yes.
So how do we understand, Prabhu? Can you please throw some light on this? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
The next part of our today's presentation will be about that only. So we just started. As we get into our subject matter, we will understand. There are a couple of slides dedicated to explain how the time is different in the Swargaloka and in the moon planet also. That we will understand in the upcoming sessions.
Great. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So currently we are discussing the concept of time with respect to our place. Then we'll go to other places. First, let us understand from our place and then we can extend. So it is like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very well explained, Prabhuji. Yeah, as you said, we are all learning this from the school days, but with these pictures and everything, it is very clear, and now we know how it is actually with these slides that you are showing. Prabhuji, I have one question. When we say the zodiac signs, it is always based on the birth star, right? When we are, why is it connected to the time of the birth? And also, will it change from place to place, Prabhuji? Because the zodiac signs are different in different places. As you said, the sun is rotating, it is daytime somewhere and nighttime some other place. So will it remain the same, or it depends on that? That's why they also say the time of birth and also the place of birth to consider, right, Prabhuji?
Okay. You see this animation? What do you observe? The sun is revolving as well as the Kala Chakra also revolving.
Yeah, the Rasis are also revolving.
Yeah, Rashis are revolving, 27 Nakshatras are revolving, sun is revolving, earth is stationary. So our Janma Rashi, Janma Nakshatra, that concept also we will discuss in the upcoming slides. I'm not sure whether we will be able to discuss today. If not today, on Wednesday, we'll definitely discuss about it. We have another half an hour time is there. We get to introduce to the topic, but about that we clearly understand in the next class.
Is it also related to the planets, Prabhuji, the Rasi system?
Yeah, that we will discuss later on. Now I cannot explain to you. Further, I need to help you understand develop some background.
Hare Krishna. I understood, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You were saying something about Pada, right? So can you explain about it?
You see, this Pada means 1/4. In Sanskrit, the word Pada is used to indicate 1/4. So we have mentioned that we have 12 Rashis and 27 Nakshatras. Yeah. So the 12 Rashis are here. You can see them clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 27 Nakshatras. So every Nakshatra has been divided into 4 parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So since we have 27 Nakshatras and 12 Rashis, 27 divided by 12, we will have a value of 2.25. Yes. Since the value comes as 2.25, the sages have divided every nakshatra into 4 padas. So 1 pada, 2 pada, 3 pada, 4 pada. From here to here it is 1, here to here is 0.25, here to here it is 0.5, 0.75 and 1.0.
Okay.
So every nakshatra has been divided into 4 parts. So in one Rashi, we should have 2.25 nakshatras. This is one nakshatra, second nakshatra, and 0.25 of the third nakshatra. So every 0.25 is called as 1 pada. So total 9 padas are there. 1 pada, 2 pada, 3 pada, 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So 4 plus 4 plus 1, 9 padas will be there in one Rashi. Actually, these details are very much required for a person who want to become astrologer, for their benefit. Even for us also, we may refer to some astrologer to understand whether our children can, whom they are supposed to marry, that marriage matching, and they are to understand referring to the birth chart, what can happen to this person. Such kind of things are there. So many times devotees refer to some good astrologer and try to understand what's happening, why it is happening like that. So in that context, they are required. All these technical details are required.
Okay. So Prabhuji, so for actually one Rashi, we have one nakshatra only, right?
No, this is from here to here is one Rashi. Within one Rashi, we have one nakshatra, second nakshatra, and 1/4 of the third nakshatra.
Okay. So, but when we generally when we go to a horoscope, means when we want to show, they say like even in temple also for Archana, we say only Rashi and Nakshatra, right? One Nakshatra, like if we say one Rashi and one Nakshatra.
Don't worry about that. That we will discuss on Wednesday. Why it is one Rashi and one Nakshatra only on Wednesday.
Okay.
Not
okay,
today.
thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Last one question, may I?
Please.
Okay, when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam or any purpose of Srila Prabhupada, we understand that there are multiple unlimited planets, right? But now when we're talking about Navagrahas, planet means graha which moves, and these are the Navagrahas which have impact and influential on the living entities. So
Yes.
do I understand that there's multiple planets in multiple universes is what he meant, or there are other planets also outside of these Navagrahas in one universe, in the universe that we live in? Thank you, Prabhu.
Within our universe, there are only 9 grahas. So we have specifically mentioned at the beginning of our presentation or in the previous class also. I'll just go to that slide. So in our universe, these are all the different planetary systems, 14 abodes. The 7 are within the Bhumandala, the 7 lower planetary systems, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. They don't even get sunlight. So don't have to worry about them. And we have the Bhumandala. The thick black line is the Bhumandala here. And above Bhumandala, we have Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then Saptarushi Mandal and then Dhruvaloka. And above Dhruvaloka, we have Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. These 4 abodes are stationary, they don't move. And they don't need sunlight. The 7 lower planetary systems also do not need sunlight. The sunlight is only available for the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka. From the surface of the Bhumandala to the moon, this intermediate area is called Bhuvarloka. And from moon, all the way up to Dhruvaloka, this entire area is called Svargaloka. The Svargaloka, Bhuvarloka and Bhuloka only need sunlight. And then everything above Bhumandala and below Dhruvaloka are continuously in motion. They all revolve. The Saptarushi Mandal revolve, the planets revolve, and also the 12 Rashis, they revolve. We have seen in the animation. The 27 Nakshatras will revolve. And all the stars also revolve. That also we have shown in one of the image. Here you see, these are all different unlimited stars within our universe. They are all revolve. So whenever Prabhupada says that there are unlimited planets within our universe, actually whatever Prabhupada says in general, it is referring to our universe only. He is basically using the planets as a generic term. Planet means any abode. In the previous class, we discussed that these are all stars, which are the abodes of the heavenly residents. The Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka residents, they have their own abode, like a Vimana that has been created by Kardama Muni. In the Bhagavatam 3rd canto we have. So like that, every heavenly person will be given one Vimana. They are all residing in those Vimanas. And those Vimanas will be seen by us at the stars. So Vimana is basically an abode of a particular person. Though we may call it as star, though we may call it as nakshatra, though we may call it as zodiac sign, though we may call it as planet, the graha, but Prabhupada in generic term uses the word planet. Planet means basically a place where people are residing. That's all. So like that we have to see when Prabhupada says planet. So we don't have to take that as equivalent to the Navagrahas. Planet, according to Prabhupada, is a place where people reside. So like that. Is it clear? Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
There are some questions in the chat box. How does the position of stars and planets and sun predict earthly beings' karma? So its respect to effects in the form of karma is not the subject matter of our presentations. How they are going to affect, etc., etc., we are not going to discuss. We only discuss about the motion of the planets, the movements of the planets. The effect we don't discuss. The effects and all a astrologer can tell. But one simple principle is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 30, I suppose. Chapter 30? No. Chapter 31, the very first verse. It says that Karmana Daivanetrena Jantur Dehopa Padyate Pravishta Udaram Sriya Purusha Reta Kanasraya. taking the shelter of the semen of a man, the jiva enters into the womb of a woman under the supervision of Daiva. Karmana Daiva Netrena. Daiva Netrena means under the supervision of Daiva, according to the result of one's own past karmas. Karmana, by one's own karma. Daiva Netrena, under the supervision of the Devatas. Jantu Dehopa Padyate. The jiva gets the material body. How? In connection to the human beings. How they get the human body? By taking shelter of the semen of man, enters into the womb of a woman, and eventually the body will be developed. The growth of the body will be under the supervision of the Devatas as per the karma of that particular jiva. So the Daiva Netrena can be understood by the movement of the planets. So how Daiva is supervising our upcoming, the growth of the body, the happiness and misery of that particular body is all under the supervision of Daiva. That Daiva is directly correlated with the Navagrahas. By the position of the Navagrahas in a particular Rashi and Nakshatra, what is going to happen in our life, which is nothing but the result of our past karmas, can be understood. So that is the understanding. How exactly we can't tell, but why? Answered by this verse. So there is another question. What about ISS revolving around Earth? They take about 92 minutes to go around the Earth, and they can see 16 sunrises and sunsets every 24 hours. Please throw some light. Thank you. So some satellites which are said to move around Earth with more faster than the sun. So obviously they get to see more sunrises or more sunsets, or less sunrises, less sunsets. So that is simply a mathematical calculations anyone can do. So if they take around 92 minutes, that is basically 1.5 hours to go around around the Earth. So when they are moving at faster speed, they pass the sun very quickly. So as and when they come in front of sun, that is sunrise for them. So like that 1.5 hour, one sunrise. So within 24 hours, 24 divided by 1.5, whatever it is, 18 times they get to see around. They get to see 16 times, something like that. So this is obvious. That is simple mathematical formula. Basically, they are making 16 rounds around Earth within a 24 hours of day. So they get to see 16 sunrises. As soon as they pass through sun, that will be a new sunrise for them. So like that, it is very simple. What's special about star Abhijit? The speciality of star Abhijit, we don't have much information, but maybe in the next class, we will throw some light on that. Why the Abhijit Nakshatra is also included among the 28 Nakshatras. We will talk about that in the next class, maybe. Why Rahu and Ketu are not there in the weekly days, representation of the planets? So, out of the 9 grahas, the 7 grahas are visible. Rahu and Ketu are not visible to our human eye. To our physical, the fleshy eye, we can't see because Rahu is a black planet. He will be in black color, and Ketu is in dark brown color. He is a dark brown planet. So since they are dark and blackish, they can't be seen by us. That's why they are not being talked about very widely. So they are there. Their effects are seen in terms of eclipse, Surya Grahan, Chandra Grahan. Whenever the eclipse comes, if you happen to see if the eclipse, during the eclipse time, the darkness is like blackish color or dark brown color, we can understand the eclipse is happening by Rahu or Ketu. So in that way we can say, since we can't see them, means we don't talk about them, they are not included as part of the 7 days of a week. And more than that, we'll understand about this concept maybe in the next week. The 7 grahas out of 9 will move in the counterclockwise direction. Rahu and Ketu will move in the clockwise direction. They go opposite to the other 7 grahas. That is another reason they are excluded from the 7 grahas. They are kept as separate from the 7 grahas. So in a week, we only have 7 days corresponding to the 7 grahas. These are some of the technical details. You may not understand today, but in the next class we will understand about it. So next question is, why for birthday celebration nakshatra is taken and for Shraddha Tithi is considered? So this we will discuss in the next class. May not be today. Today it may not be a good idea to discuss about that because we have not talked about further details about the movements. So it is like that. Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. This I need repetition actually. The zodiacs, they're constellations, and then the nakshatras, they're also constellations, right?
Of course, when you say in English, it is called as constellation. Constellation means it is nothing but a group.
Yeah.
But better to call with a different name. The zodiac, we call it as zodiac wheel or zodiac signs, and constellations, we call it as constellations. The Sanskrit terminology for constellations is nakshatra, and for zodiac signs it is Rashi.
And so can you just repeat the distinction then between these two kinds of groups?
So the zodiac is a group of stars which consist more number of stars, like 10, 11, 12, 13, like that. And constellation is a group of stars consisting of 2 to 3, 4 stars, not more than that. That's why they are called as small bears. The 27 constellations are compared with small bears. And the zodiac signs are compared with different big animals. So that is the distinction.
Mm-hmm. But both kinds of constellations or groups, they both revolve around the pole star. Yeah.
Yes, both of them together revolve around pole star, as we have seen in this animation.
And let's say the geographical relationship between the grahas and the nakshatras, they are fixed, right?
Grahas and nakshatras? I did not get you.
Yeah. The geographical relationship between the grahas or the not the grahas, the rashis, right? Between the rashis and
the rashi and nakshatra, that is fixed.
Yes.
From our vision point of view, we see this Mesha Rashi are Aries and Ashwini Bharani together always.
Yes.
They don't change within themselves. They are always together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there is a small video. I request all of you to just go through. Initially I supposed to show, but I hide the slide.
The alignment of heavenly bodies around was elucidated by Srila Prabhupada in a letter.
We can see that at night how the whole planetary system is turning around. And the pole star being the pivot. His planet has its orbit fixed, but the sun is moving up and down, north and south. It is not that we shall accept the theory that the sun is fixed and others are all going around the sun. That is not correct.
In a letter to Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, Srila Prabhupada delineated 4 phenomena to be explained in the planetarium.
He explained the passing seasons, the eclipses and the phases of the moon, and the passing of day and night, etc. Then it will be a very powerful propaganda.
The literature of that period contains a wealth of cosmological knowledge encoded in Sanskrit, arguably the world's oldest language. This knowledge has the potential to enrich our understanding of the cosmos we live in. A fundamental principle of Vedic cosmology is the existence of a dual reality, material and non-material. Here we see the non-material sky filled with innumerable planets of permanent stature. Among these, the topmost planet, Goloka, is shaped like a lotus flower, and it is here that the super-intelligent designer of the cosmos, Sri Krishna, resides with his associates. Although knowledge of the non-material realm remains beyond ordinary perception, the Vedic knowledge of the material cosmos has been recognized as extraordinary by many eminent Western thinkers.
As in Hindu mythology, it is a continual dance of creation and destruction involving the whole cosmos, the basis of all existence and of all natural phenomena. Long before it became a scientific aspiration to estimate the age of the earth, many elaborate systems of the world chronology had been devised by the sages of antiquity. The most remarkable of these occult timescales is that of the ancient Hindus. Indian cosmologists, the first to estimate the age of the earth at more than 4 billion years, they came closest to the modern ideas of atomism, quantum physics. To the philosophers of India, however, relativity is no new discovery, just as the concept of light years is no matter for astonishment to people used to thinking of time in millions of kalpas. A kalpa is about 4,320,000 years.
So it is about that, the same concept which is being importance of this study is being presented in the video. So we have discussed about how day and night is happening all over the Bhumandala and also within our Earth globe, Bharatakanda. And continuing the same concept, evam tato, sorry, what happened? Evam tato varunim saumyam aindram cha punaha tatane cha graha somadayo nakshatrai saha jyotis chakre samabhyudayanti saha va nimlochati. Just like we have seen how sun is traveling from Indra's township to Yama's township, from there to Varuna's township, from there to Soma's township, from there to again Indra's township, rising and going through midday and setting and midnight again rising. Similarly, Somadayo, the moon and all other planets, along with Nakshatrai Saha, along with the Nakshatras, they also every day rises and sets, continuously goes on like that. So that concept will be explained and we will discuss that in the next week. And before closing for today, so one small, okay, where is that? Yeah, here. If you saw that animation, this is how it is going. All over ISKCON, for Mangalarti, we chant Samsara Dava Nallida Loka. In Vrindavan, in Krishna Balram Mandir, they chant a different mantra for Mangalarti. What was that mantra? Anyone can remember?
Vibhavari Shesha?
Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha. So we, the people in Vrindavan, are in India. So we are in India here. The person from India, early in the morning around 4:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. Of course, here with Chaupati we have a Mangalarti at 5 a.m. in Vrindavan at 4:30. So there they are chanting this mantra early in the morning. They say that Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha. So now for you to get that, I can't stop in this. So I'll take the next simulation. So you should be able to get it here. The Somas township is here. So now the sun is just crossing the Somas township. If you go to the previous slide, this is in the north. The Somas residence is called as Vibhavari. So the meaning of that particular verse is Vibhavari Shesha, leaving behind Vibhavari, the sun gradually entering into a dark region. That means this entire part of the earth globe is dark, and slowly as time passes by, the sun is gradually, sunlight is entering into dark region, and very soon this may be around early in the morning in India, maybe 4:35 a.m. Slowly the eastern part of India, like Assam, Nagaland, and then eventually West Bengal, that is Mayapur, gradually getting sunlight early in the morning. So basically says that leaving behind Vibhavari, even now also the places connect to Vibhavari. In the North Pole, in this northern area, America, there is sunlight. In some time, maybe in another half an hour, the sun completely leaves behind the Vibhavari. Vibhavari means this, the water place is connected to this side. This entire area becomes dark, and this area which was dark till now starts having sunlight. Sun is entering into Aloka. Aloka means the place which was dark is gradually entering into it. So early in the morning around 6 a.m., the Vibhavari, the township of Soma, which is in the northern direction, becomes dark, and this place, it is becoming bright, sunrise. That is the meaning of that words. Vibhavari Shesha, leaving behind Vibhavari, Aloka Pravesha, sun entering into the eastern regions. I mean, not eastern region, entering into the region where Vrindavan is there, and gradually Vrindavan will be able to see the sunrise, the rising of the sun. So that is the meaning of that verse. So you see, even though apparently it seems to be a poem, a poetry, but it still has great connection to what's happening actually in the cosmos. So it is like that. That mantra is chanted early in the morning hours, especially when sun is leaving behind Vibhavari and entering into our Indian continent where we are going to have sunrise. So that is the understanding. Okay, all of you are able to follow this concept of how day and night is happening according to our Bhagavatam?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So with this concept, just like sun is moving around along with Kala Chakra and causing day and night, so now we are going to help us understand the movements of other planets, adding many days together. So this is our Kala Chakra. This is our entire Kala Chakra, has been divided into 360 divisions. It is nothing but a circle. Circle can be divided into 360 divisions. 0 degrees, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30, 90, 180, 270 and 360 degrees, something like that. So till now we were discussing only sun is moving along with Kala Chakra. Now I have got moon also, sun and moon, and here is the Kala Chakra. If we allow the sun and moon to move along with Kala Chakra, in the previous animation we saw that the sun is moving along with Kala Chakra together only. It apparently seems that both of them are going together, but actually both of them don't go together. There is a difference in speed. How much difference? So we'll see now. When the sun and moon are moving along with the Kala Chakra, this is the difference. After the time wheel makes one round, comes back to the original position, the sun is behind by 1 degree. The sun does not come to the original point. So initially sun is here and the moon is here and the Kala Chakra 0 degrees here. The three of them are said to be in motion, said to move in motion. So after one round, the sun is behind by 1 degree and the moon is behind by 12 degrees or 13 degrees approximately, sorry, 13 degrees. So if they are allowed to go for one more round, after one more round, the sun is behind by 2 degrees. That means the first round 1 degree and the second round 1 degree, total 2 degrees. And the moon is 26 degrees. That means after every round, the sun is lagging by 1 degree cumulatively. And the moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees after every round. Though the sun and moon are being carried by the time wheel, but they cannot move with the same speed as that of the time wheel. They have their own lag. So for example, 3 people are running on their respective bikes. So one person is running at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. The second one is running at a speed of 59 kilometers per hour. The third one is running at a speed of 55 kilometers per hour. So if they are 50 kilometers per hour, we can say, if they continue to move with that speed, after 1 hour, first person will cover 60 kilometers, second person will cover 59 kilometers, third person will cover only 50 kilometers. After 2 hours, 120 kilometers, 118 kilometers, and 100 kilometers. After 10 hours, first person will cover 600 kilometers, second person will cover 590 kilometers, third person will cover only 500 kilometers. So like that. And in road, we can say kilometers. Since it is circle, we are saying number of degrees. So now we see. After one round, he covered 359 degrees. He covered 347 degrees because he is lagging behind by 1 degree. He is lagging behind by 13 degrees. After 2 rounds, he will be lagging behind by 2 degrees. He will be lagging behind by 26 degrees. After 30 rounds of the time wheel, the sun will be lagging behind by 30 degrees. The moon will be lagging behind by 390 degrees. That means after 30 rounds, the sun in the backwards, he will go to this place, 330 degrees. This is the 330. Sun will go from here to here after 30 rounds. And after 30 rounds, the moon will go around and come here, 390 degrees. 390 in a circle is equal to from here to here 360 plus here to here 30. So it's like that. And after 360 rounds, when the time will complete 360 rounds, the sun will go backward direction 360 degrees. That is 1 round. That means the sun will complete 359 rounds and the moon will complete 360 into 13 degrees. That is 13 rounds. He will go backward 13 rounds basically. So in 360 rounds of the time wheel, the sun will go around backward 1 round. He also makes 359 rounds clockwise direction, but 1 round backward he does. The moon makes 347 forward rounds and 13 backward rounds. This is the relative speed of sun and moon with respect to Kala Chakra. And in the upcoming classes, we will only discuss about the relative motion of the sun, moon, and other planets with respect to Kala Chakra. And a normal case, in general, all the planets with Kala Chakra, they make 1 round every day on average. But since there is small difference in the speeds, that difference can be seen over a period of time. So that is like this. Every day sun is lagging behind by 1 degree. That means over every 360 rounds of the time wheel, the sun makes 1 reverse round and the moon makes about 13 reverse rounds. So that is the understanding. That concept we will try to understand and elaborate on the principle in the next class. So just I introduced this today so that we understand it more elaborately in the future classes. This is a food for thought for all of you. Because in the modern science, they say that the earth is revolving around it and revolving around sun in the counterclockwise direction. But our Vedic understanding is earth is stationary, but sun is revolving around pole star and also around earth globe. So how, by the sun's one side movement, we have day and nights and the months, seasons, etc. All this will be understood by this relative motion of the sun, moon, and other planets that we will understand elaborately in the next class. So, etc. There is a question in the chat box that So this causes a leap year. The leap year also will understand more than leap year. We try to understand how there is a additional lunar month. We call it as Adhika Mas over every 3 years. That is more important for us than leap year. That we will also understand in the next class. So we'll stop here with this slide, and we will continue on Wednesday. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Very beautiful class, Prabhu. Very technical and a little, a little difficult to understand at some points. But certainly, we can always go on YouTube and watch this again to have more understanding. And we can always ask questions from you in the future classes if there is something that is really bugging us. But thank you so much, Prabhu. Such a beautiful class. So many technical points, and it just makes sense after a little while you contemplate on it, and it just makes sense what the Bhagavatam is saying is actually truth. Because I personally went to see on Google, and it's true that in Google they haven't seen the earth moving actually. Like there is no proof that they have seen the earth moving. So that just tells you something. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Dear devotees, if anybody has any further questions, please go ahead. Otherwise, we'll end the call. Yeah, I don't think, Prabhu, there is any more further questions. So, dear devotees, please let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpataru bhashyacha kripa sindhubhyo patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Tantraj Shri Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai. His case Pavaneshwar Das Prabhu ji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Koti Koti Dandvat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
So one small request, never mind it is too technical. Try to be present in all our discussions. At least we will get to understand what is there in the Bhagavatam. Even though we may not understand everything completely, but we understand that all these are there in the Bhagavatam.
So true, Prabhuji, so true. Yeah. And this actually just does connect us to our parampara and what Srila Prabhupada has said us. So that's very, very true, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.